Natasha and Toya. I call them the triple threat. All them bitches.
Journalist Philip Hirsch believes the tournaments are more interesting with Russian figure skaters. I wouldn't rush to put everything in one basket. Yes, Russia had a large-scale doping program before Sochi 2014, plus there was doping in other sports, athletics, swimming, and so on. But this does not mean that every Russian athlete took doping. Now we have evidence that Kamila Valieva took a prohibited drug, but this does not mean that all athletes from Terry Tubberts' group took prohibited drugs. Maybe they are accepted, maybe not. But I wouldn't lump everyone into one group. But with Russian figure skaters, the competition becomes much more interesting. These are the kings of drama. From Plushenko and Miss Hin, who shouted that Lysisak did not have quads, to Terry Tubberts and Tamara Moskvina, who is a work of art in herself. There are actually a lot of incredible people there, so much so that I would even like to know Russian, so I could talk to them and get to know them better. Hirsch said on the Skating Lesson podcast. Figure skater Kamila Valieva will not perform at the Russian Jumping Championship due to health reasons. This was reported in the athletes' fan group. The jumping tournament takes place from January 19 to 21 in Moscow. The jumping tournament is one of the novelties of Russian figure skating last season. The premiere was remembered for the confrontation between the teams of Tubberts, Plushenko and Miss Hin, and the victory of Evgeny. And also personal competitions, where success required only one, but very stable, ultra-C jump. In this season's calendar, the tournament was originally scheduled for December. It was planned to hold it in St. Petersburg. But before shortly the designated date, it turned out that Pavel Volya's concert would be held at the same venue the day before, and it would not be possible to turn the stage into ice so quickly. As a result, the tournament was postponed, and instead the pause was filled with the Channel 1 Junior Cup. But the jumping championship still found a new place and new dates. The competition will take place in Moscow at the CSKA Arena from January 19 to 22. Everything will be shown live on the Channel 1 website, and some of the competitions will also be broadcast on television. The presenters are the Ice Age branch, Alina Zagitova, Anna Sherbakova and Alexei Yagidin, as well as the ubiquitous Maxim Trenkov. There will be no clash of coaches this year, although last year's version looked interesting and fresh. Now everything will come down to the usual duel of just two teams. The captains are already known. Alexander Galyamov and Dmitry Kozlovsky will lead the rest of the skaters. Now in Russian figure skating there is actually no fundamental confrontation. The fight between the top pairs is partly similar to it, Bykova Kozlovsky, who left Moskvina for Tubberts, and Messina Galyamov, who remained with Moskvina. Basically, Galyamov, who dove into the Football Media League in the summer and, to the best of his ability, carried over a few things from there. Awkward rapping at press conferences, ambiguous posts in the Telegram channel, ironic congratulations to Kozlovsky on his birthday, a story about how his rivals unfollowed him on social networks. There shouldn't really be a fire between Galyamov and Kozlovsky, both are intelligent and well-mannered enough for this. But jokes, at least on one side, are very likely. Just what you need for the atmosphere of the tournament. Important. Kamila Valieva withdrew a date before the qualification due to health reasons. Alina Gorbacheva and Alyssa Dvoblazova are also missing due to illness. What are the prizes? Skaters will compete for impressive sums. The winners of the team tournament will receive 5 million rubles, the losers 3 million. Gold in the personal tournament will bring 1 million rubles, a reward of 500,000 is provided for silver, and 250,000 for bronze. There are also special prizes for the maximum points scored when performing a jumping element in a personal tournament. The regulations have changed a lot. Last season, personal tournaments were won by Kamila Valieva, and Grigory Fedorov. Gold was brought to them by consistent performance of their favorite elements. Valieva jumped only quadruple toe loops, and Fedorov jumped quadruple lutzes. I liked it very much. It's just a great idea. Let's jump and that's it. Today he jumped 6 out of 6. Yesterday, 4 out of 4. Grigory rejoiced after the victory. It was this point in the rules of the personal tournament that looked like a failure. It is enough to have only one good and difficult jump to win. This year, the organizers have developed a scheme according to which this will no longer be possible. Now athletes need to build tactics and train several signature jumps at once. Natalia Bustemianova spoke about Valieva's removal from the Russian Jumping Championship. It's a shame that Kamila will miss the Russian jumping championship. Undoubtedly, the difficult season took its toll on both their physical and emotional state. There was information that Kamila would miss the championship for health reasons. We wish her good health and quickly cope with all the ambiguities in her fate, Semyonova said. Alexander Embert answered the question whether Kamila Valieva will be able to skate for a long time. At the last Russian championship, Kamila Valieva became third. In your opinion, what is the reason that Kamila lost the status of leader of the Russian women's team to Adelia Petrosian? Kamila still skates great and looks incredible on the ice. They put on interesting programs for her. But at the Russian championship she failed in her quadruple toe loop. I think that we will still see quadruples from her in excellent performance, but at the moment she received a well-deserved bronze medal. For me this was expected. In any case, I'm glad that Kamila continues to delight us with her performances. Adelia is currently better equipped technically, her content is more complex, and her cascades with triples are more complex. She has 2 quadruple toe loops in her free program. I think we could still see a triple axel in the short program, but Adelia said that she lost this jump before the Russian championships. There is also a quadruple flip that Adelia does. No matter how close figure skating is to art, it remains a sport, and the complexity of the content now plays a more important role than the connections between jumps. Although I must say that Adelia's programs are very interesting. It is clear that Kamila's skating skills and gliding skills are probably still difficult for anyone to surpass. However, thanks to her jumping skating, Adelia very confidently overtakes her rivals in terms of technical assessment and wins leadership positions. No wonder. Everything is in the protocols, everything is reflected in the points. How much and for what element the athlete receives. When you look at the protocols, everything becomes clear. After the competition, Kamila said that now her idol is Elizaveta Tatamasheva. Do you think Kamila has the qualities to skate as long as Tatamasheva? I think that Kamila has all the qualities for this. Here the only question is motivation and some kind of inner strength, because surviving so many seasons in professional sports is really very difficult. But if you have a desire, something for which you are doing it, then it's probably possible. And Elizaveta Tatamasheva shows that this is real, said the Pyeongchang 2018 silver medalist on the team.
И чемпионка России, Еще один полуфинальную серию. Блистательный четверной. 13,3. И тоже исполняет четверной тулуп. Все! Они сделали все! Валиева все-таки показывает, что она по праву главный приз. Софья Муравьева первый исполняет. Ее четверной тулуп. Блестящая. Заключительная попытка в финале у Софьи Муравьевой. И тройной аксель.
Приятно побеждать на таких соревнованиях?
Конечно, приятно.